Did I think I sent you the link last week, the recording.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it, mate. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really, because I talk far too much, same as usual. But it did spark something off in me. Okay, and that is that I was thinking not only should we do this, but it might be interesting. I thought, well, I'll invite people I've met through the years
Yeah,
uh, on Zoom and just like record it and just like sort of old geezers jabbering, sort of.
yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking, it could be called the Voices of Experience or something like that. It just, just different people I've met through the years. And I thought to myself, well, it's all very well, but it's like sort of might get a bit stale because I know the people and the stories they're going to tell are probably ones in my memory. So I've got a point of reference. And it's not what I want to do. I want to vary it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I thought to myself, well, okay, well, what we should do really is if we can arrange it for next week, okay, I'd like to effectively do what you did with me and interview you on your Zoom. And
Oh,
then so
very
I
good.
can get some of your stories and stop me talking. That's what struck me. I thought, I talk too much. I talk too much. I always say, I know I talk too much. So I've got to turn the tables on myself and
Flip
be the
it.
one to
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
the
yeah,
questions and let it go where it goes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I thought if we could do that next week, and then I thought to myself, well, okay, thinking about this, inviting friends or
Yeah,
contacts, if you like, people I've met, wouldn't it be nice if we did that together? So you
yeah,
don't know who they are, and then you could maybe invite somebody that I don't know,
yeah.
or we could invite somebody we both know. Like I thought to myself, it'd be lovely to get Jerome on one of these calls because there's a Frenchman living in Luxembourg, and he's been, he was in England working in retail, restaurant management for 22 years. So he'd be really sort of, I know him well. He's being a really interesting guy. So I thought, well, perhaps we could sort of tag team on that and just invite people. Just say, oh, this. I'll invite somebody for the coming week, and then you go, right, I'll invite for the following week, and then we just do something like that and just say to them that, like you to come on. It's just like a sort of a podcast type thing.
Yeah.
And if it's okay with you, we'll record it. But yeah, we just want to hear from you, sort of silly things that happened, good experiences. What advice would you give to young people these days in the job market or stuff like that? Just speak your mind, as it were. And then it'd be ultimately variable. We could do like a series of them.
Absolutely. And we can take it that one step further and actually do it as a podcast because I have an account started already,
Oh,
and
really?
it's at that stage where it's okay. I've had the free one, so it's at the stage now where you pay, but it's something fairly. It's €10. It's not a whole lot anyway,
Yeah.
and because this is exactly one of the ideas that I had for going forward was the podcast and doing what we're doing. So we
Yeah,
may as
it'd be
well
great
say,
because
right,
there's a podcast I watch. It's called, I forget what it's called, whatever or something like that. And it's,
mm,
it's the same. It's the same thing all the time, but they sometimes they get different people on, and they basically discuss all sorts of things. They've gone more now where they're inviting like OnlyFans girls on there to sort of debate them about modern girls and modern women versus traditional women and stuff like that. And it's really gone off track. But
mm,
before it was very sort of you didn't know what was going to be on there or who was going to be on there. But there was two guys who always were always there, and they came at it from slightly different angles, obviously with different experience. And it's nice because it throws an extra hat in the ring as well.
yeah,
And it's different experiences and different knowledge.
this is it. It's all about the dynamics of it as well. And I suppose like that too is that there's times where we might feel on top of the world, and then there's other times where we don't really feel that,
Oh
and
shit, yeah,
it's
this
kind of
is the pendulum swings.
yeah,
Boy, does it swing.
Yeah, and it's just hopefully that it'd be swinging at opposite times, where you'd be up and I'd be down, and I'd be up and you'd be down. Not that we'd fall down at the same time, but we'd all be sitting here.
Let's put
What are
them
we going
work.
to talk about?
Let's make the
What
world
are
a
you going to do then?
rights. I hate the place. Be like the two hecklers on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Or the picture I have too is the birds up on in the Jungle Book. What do you want to do then? I don't know. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
And they just go backwards and forwards.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so
Ah,
it really sort of sprouted in my mind. It all came from the fact that I knew at some point I was going to understand the reason why I was talking too much. And I'm starting to realize it now. But even more so, it sparked me to how to manage it.
mm,
And because the thing is, like, I'm so used to talking to multiple people each day. I was floating around the place, so flying here, there, and everywhere, and talking to different people every day, and spending like 4 days at a trot with people I'd never met before, and doing in-depth contract negotiations and stuff like that, ending up mates at the end of it. That
yeah,
when all that fell apart, and I came home, and then I was ill after COVID, on lockdown, and then I fell ill until recently. I haven't met anybody really. Nobody knew is like the sort of the phrase each week. Oh, have you met this week? Oh, nobody knew. But
yeah,
and that's why I do it. I think because I'm just like sort of. I used to talk for a living, if the truth is known. I know I never wielded a hammer in anger in terms of engineering. I was I was the guy who went in and told them what they were getting and asked them what they wanted.
yeah, yeah.
So I was just
But
basically I bled for a living.
yeah, but like you said though, too, after COVID, everything did sort of shut down, and where people weren't meeting other people and they weren't in this communicating, and it's like where nothing was happening week to week to week, and it's like, what did you do last week? Nothing, or very little.
I got a friend.
So
I got
then
a
you
friend
do get,
who's really religious, and he suffered more than anybody I ever knew because he was constantly involved with his church community, if you like.
mm,
And then he was always there at weekends helping out and stuff like that, and always there for mass and stuff. So, he really suffered badly because he just said, it's taken my whole life away.
mm.
Can't go to the place that is my life.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, that kind of question, what defines us, and for a lot of people, I suppose, especially men, it's like their job defines who it is that they are, but we're a lot more than the job, and it's only when
Right.
situation like that arises that we gotta go inside and say, who am I? What am I about?
Yeah,
And really dig deep, and as they say in the Bible, get to know them, know thyself. I think that's kind of one of the things that was overlooked by not out talking to people all of the time, because we've had no choice but to sit with ourselves and to say, okay, who am I? How do I feel?
yeah. And to
What
be
do I
quite
want to
honest
do?
with you, I found myself, how do I put it? Initially, I thought I'm just vacuous. There's nothing in there. I'm
Mm,
just like sort of, yeah, I was an engineer, but I was experiencing something new all the time because I was floating around the place,
mm,
different countries and that. So, but initially I was left like I was like a bloody fish stranded on the beach.
mm,
I was like gasping for air, and I couldn't understand where I was going next, or why I was where I was, or who
yeah,
I was. I didn't like who I was. And my self-esteem didn't just go down the toilet; it went down the toilet straight through the U bend and off out to sea. It just it was quite strange to say the least.
yeah. But I suppose like that too is good now that you've recognized the opportunity, if you like, to reset. that it was a reset. And now it's kind of, now I'm deciding who I want to be, and how do I want to show up, and what sort of legacy do I want to leave? When
Mm.
somebody asks that, what was Ken Eaton all about, or who was he, or who was Declan, that they'd be able to say more. Well, he was an engineer, he was a chef, he was this, he was that, but that there was more depth and more meaning. For there is more depth and more meaning to us. And now we have the
Yeah,
opportunity
you're right.
to show up as who we are, magnificent creators, children of God, and all that
Yeah,
good stuff.
and not to put too fine a point on it, it's one of the biggest journeys of my life has been the last few years,
Mm,
because I've told you before that I've never been a religious person. I know there's something more, if you see what I mean. There's
yeah,
something more. I've never been a religious person. I've always thought of religions as like dogma, if you like.
yeah,
Do this and everything will be okay, pal. It's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
control of the masses, the great unwashed. But that was quite a twisted point of view to a lot of people, I know. But what I found is that in that journey, the big epiphany was the fact that, okay, well, there is more out there,
Yeah.
and I want to be part of it.
Mm,
And uh, it was somebody also. I was looking at a business with Jerome, and but one of the books they recommended said, "Oh, read this book." I thought, "Oh, okay, fair enough. I always like to read books." And but in this book, he said, he actually said, sort of, uh, when you go, when you leave this planet, okay, leave something behind.
yeah,
Leave something behind that you admire in somebody you've met or you've heard of, if you see what I mean.
mm,
So there were different words to that, but it was basically it. And I thought to myself, I do want to leave more. Yeah, I've got my son, and I'm really proud of him. He's done really well, and he's doing really well, and his kids are fantastic, and his wife is lovely. My daughter is lovely. Um, but what all I did with that is I just showed up. I didn't I didn't consciously give him parenting rules. I just like sort of like everybody else. It was like a mix and match. Like sort of I'm just doing the best I can. We all mess it up to some degree.
mm,
I put my hand up to it straight away. I messed it up big time. But there is more to leaving something. So I want to be known as, in a way, I had something right all the way through my life, and that is that my dad was my hero.
mm,
And my dad was one of those people who never really made very much money. Okay. But he was always very humble, and he was always ready to help people. And in the midst of a crisis, when everybody's running around like chickens with their heads cut off, he'd be standing there going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold on a second. Breathe, smile,
mm.
let's find a solution." And that's what he was brilliant at. And I just thought, wow, what person to be.
Mm,
And I still love to do it now. When I go, I want people to say, "Oh, he was a good bloke." He was a
yeah,
good. He was there when people needed it.
what is
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
and that is quite a big thing, because then I started beating myself up about I wasn't doing anything for anybody. The self-esteem came back
Yeah.
into the picture again. What about yourself, though? What what have what have you got, like, moments in your journey which you can say, oh, like a light bulb moment in your journey through life? It's just sort of went, ding, crap, yes.
Well, for me, I think there was a lot of them. It's, I suppose, like that too about religion. When I was in my 20s, I don't know if I ever told you this before or not, but when I had meningitis and I'd experienced a lot of stuff, I was in a coma for a great length of time, and I had a lot of out of body experiences, and I experienced a lot of past life. And these beings presented themselves to me when I was in a deep depression. And they're not speaking to me like we're speaking here now, but they conveyed to me that everything's okay and that you're going to get
Yeah,
through this and that you're here for a purpose, you
you
know?
just knew it all of a sudden.
Yeah. So this thing here for a purpose, stuff there. And it's like, what is this purpose? And I spent the rest of my life then looking around what this purpose was. What am I supposed to be doing? And I was meeting all sorts of people in South America, witch doctors and shamans and all sorts of, and you could feel this connection, this click going on. And I was still looking, looking, and looking. And I think the realization just over the last few years that it's not out there, but it's all about in here. And it's about how we show up every day and how we conduct our life. And it doesn't matter what it is you're doing, whether you're sweeping the streets, you're the CEO of a big multinational, you're a housewife or a father or whatever. It's how you show up and how you treat other people. That's the thing that we're here for.
Yeah, it's that's
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 the
that
big,
interaction that honestly we miss.
yeah, exactly. Because we think everything is out there somewhere. I have to get this. I have to drive the fancy car. I have to have this type of house and this type of
Ego,
stuff.
ego
And
and
that's
status driven.
exactly, and that's all fucking bullshit.
It's all
But
shit.
it's how we show up and how we treat others. That's the difference. Because that's what people remember. They're not going to remember what car you had or how much money you had in the bank, but they will remember how you showed up and how you treated them. And just like you've described your father, they'll say your man was stock on. He was solid. He like that's who he was there when I needed him. He left peace in his wake. You know, he created. He was a good character. He brought fun. For a lot of the time, I always sort of viewed myself like as the jester, and that I hated conflict of any sort, and I'd be the one to try and break it up through being an idiot or being funny in some shape or form. Uh, and then there was other times where too much alcohol and I was becoming the asshole and becoming nasty and letting the anger and the bitterness get in there and waking up and having to catch yourself on and say, "Hmm, that's not what it's about, lad. Get yourself on there and making a realization and coming back to what's inside here and how am I showing up? And it's not to be beating ourselves up. The, I mean, from a very early age, I realized that what they're telling you in the mass, the priest is up there. He's got 20 minutes or he's a half an hour, and he's looking at his watch and he's waiting to get out to go for his lunch or to go for his round of golf. And you could feel it that the lad, he can't get out there fast enough. He doesn't give a shit. He's just reading a book here. He's got nothing
It's
coming
his
from the
job.
heart. There's no love. Exactly. And he don't give a shit about it. That's that's the sad thing. Because I mean there are some good people out there wearing the cloth and stuff like that who are loving and compassionate and all the rest of it. But you come across, or you remember the ones who were bad, not the ones who were good. But that was something that I went to looking into becoming a priest or a monk, and several different times of my life. Um, I was talking to my local priest down here about, what would be the next stages. Would I be able to become a priest? I was 39 at the time, coming on 40. And he said, oh, yeah, yeah, we can, this is with that, blah, blah. And after about the second or third week, meeting him on a weekly basis and talking about different things, and uh, he wasn't there this particular day. And I said, Jesus, what happened with Father Michael? Oh, he got excommunicated. And I said, excommunicated? What did he do? Well, one of his girlfriends found out that he was two timing her and reported him to the bishop. And I said, well, fuck me, pink. The realization too that, well, I like women, I
Yeah.
love women, and I'd quite fancy to be in a relationship with one. And it's like, no, but if you're going to be a priest, you know, being celibate is great if you choose it and you choose it for the right reasons, but not when it's pushed on you. So I realized, well, maybe we'll give that one a miss for the moment, you know.
It's a bit strong, that ask.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, exactly what you're describing there, it just reminds me of something, because I hate certain things in language, way people mangle language. And the
Mm,
Americans are great at it, because it's not they're mangling it on purpose. It's just that they come at it from completely different perspective, and they
mm.
really understand it. They really do. But it's just, that sort of, how to put it, it's like the mangling of the language, and one of the phrases in American English, if you like, which I really hate, and say, well, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a good actor or a bad actor? And they're talking about, like actors, people are just actors in life. It's
Mm.
not like they are being anything; they're just acting like something. and and I hate that, because that just it's just really raw to me, because I just think, well, hold on a second, no, I don't want to be any sort of actor. I just want to be me. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Um, so yeah, the way you're saying it, Christ, man, it's just like you can see that I can almost feel in you the sudden realization. Hold on a second, that vessel over there is just hollow. It's not. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just trying to be something, trying to look like something.
exactly. And I think for a lot of people, or especially society nowadays, that's the way it pushes you to be like that, rather than the significance. You know, I mean, Shakespeare is the one that said it. He's the one that said it first. He says life is like the stage. You know, we all here to have a part to play, and all you got to do is get up there and play that part, be that part, and it's like the part that you are. Be you. Allow what's
Yeah,
inside there. Discover who you were and bring that forth and let that out, rather than looking at what's over there. And that's I suppose that's okay for a certain amount of time, but at the end of the day, the realization is that we are all unique individuals, and that our role in life is to discover who that is and to bring that person forth, that being forth, that experience forth. Um, Rather than saying like that too, I see the guy that's making all that money. I'm going to be like that. And you're making all that money and you're wearing the nice suits and in the nice place. And then you realize that's all it is that you have. You know, you're just that shallow self.
yeah.
There's nothing else there.
Somebody's thrown the person away and left the box they came in. Yeah,
But I
it's
suppose,
so true. You're right on the button there, mate, because it's just like I've gone through life a lot of times in my life where when I was younger, I thought I'm born to more. I'm born
mm,
to more than this. Okay, there must be more than this. I'm born to more than this.
yeah,
And but that was really like that had echoes of like entitlement. Like well, here I am, life. Give it to me. Come on, bring it on a plate. Feed me with the silver spoon, please. Um, but then as I got older, I realized that there was something missing from that thought. And the only thing I'd done is taken it out of context. Is I was born to do more
yeah,
in this life. Not born to receive more, but born to do more in this life.
yeah. And I think people miss that point. You know, that they miss. Yes, you can be whoever or whatever it is that you want, but it's coming from inside here. You
Yeah.
have necessary skills. You have this light inside you, and you know, at the moment it's just a little flicker. And what you have to do is discover that yeah, I've got this inside me, and to fan the flames and to discover who you are. I mean, it tells us all the way through the Bible. Jesus and many others, know thyself. That's what it means. What is
Yeah.
it you're inside,
But
and
going
what's
up
your
to mind
natural ability?
alleys, like sort of success. I want to be a success. Well, define success.
Mm,
It goes back to that old phrase. I don't even know where it came from. I've got to look it up at some point in time.
mm,
But it's like sort of be careful what you ask for,
yeah,
because you might just get it. And that's it. You go, oh, I want to be top for this. I want to be like when I was traveling the world, for a good while there, I became status driven. I was flying first class. I had 2,000, 3,000 pound suits when most people were buying them for 60 quid off the peg at Marks and Spencer's. I thought I made it. A pair of shoes of mine was what people spent on a complete wardrobe. And I was the big I am. I just fly into town. I go, here we go. Let's do. This is me. This is me.
Yeah.
This is me. And when I got there, I got to the biggest, most important job in my mind that I got to, and I was flying, like I say, flying around first class from Rochester. And I got there, and I just thought, once again, excuse my swearing, I'm an Essex boy. I got there, and I thought, fuck me, is this it? Is this the success that I asked for? I've got a heaving bank account. I've got 5 cars because then I've got to decide in the mornings which car to drive. A big house and all the rest. I just thought, I hate it. I detest it. And the only thing good about it was the people that I was meeting, because every one of them was a better human being than me. And I suddenly realized it, and that hit me like a hammer. That hit me like a hammer. And but you're right, we go around, we've just got to find it inside instead of traveling thousands of miles and talking to everybody on the face of the planet and having every story to tell and all the rest of it. You've got to find it in here.
Yeah.
What's in here? And am I
Yeah. And
maximizing? Am I generating that? You know?
I like that too. I mean, it's all right to have all of that sort of all the stuff and all the wealth and all the rest of it, but you got to know who you are. And I mean, wealth will bring out more of who you are. And it's when you come from that point, uh, the more you have, the more wealth you have, the more good, the more great that you'd be able to do from that area. But if there's nothing inside,
No,
shit
and
in, shit out.
yeah, I can. My relationship with money was strange then, because I thought,
Mm,
coming from nothing and getting to that point in life
mm,
where I had seemingly everything people wanted, had a
mm,
great marriage, which was the only thing that I'd really invested myself into properly.
mm,
Uh, but I, I got there and I realized that my relationship with money, I thought it was stressful not having money.
mm,
Okay. The more money I got, the more stressed I was about losing it, because it was
mm.
money for money's sake.
Yeah.
And that hit me hard when I fell off my perch, and the great I am and all the rest of it. Suddenly, I'm just another cog in a huge, great big gearbox, and I've got no money, and my self definition has gone out the window, because I was an engineer. I was a head honcho. I was a big dog in town. When I lost all of that, for a good while, I went back to stressing about not having any money.
Mm,
Now, okay, I haven't got any money, but if I get to the end of the month and the books just about add up, fair deal. It's been a good month. I appreciate it, and I appreciate it. Just like this month, I'm doing some stuff in the office here. I have to, because it's just, like I said before, it's like Steptoe's yard in here. But I'm spending a little bit of money on it. But I've gone online and I thought, yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that. I just thought, hold on a second. And so I went on eBay and all these different sites and stuff like that, and I dug on it, and I thought, look at that. I can get a Chinese one. What I wanted was a really nice microphone, and
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like sort of like a gorilla pod type thing. But I wanted a microphone on it and stuff like that, proper. go with my camera. And I was staring down a barrel of like 60, 70, 80 quid.
Mm.
I found a Chinese one for 8 quid.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll give it a go. I went,
Mm.
oh, what a bargain. And it's just that I don't understand the meaning of money still. And I still have a bit of a strange relationship with it. But I understand the need, no, you understand the joy of not worrying about it.
Mm.
Worrying about the lack or not worrying about losing it. It's just that stress that's self-created. I was
Mm.
basically stressing myself.
Yeah.
And everybody
Yeah.
said, oh,
Because
there must be stressful jobs. Yeah, there was stressful jobs, but I didn't give a damn about that. My stress was
mm,
lose your money, don't lose your money.
that's it. But when we understand that money is just, it's a form of energy. It's a form, you know, take the word money out. I mean, like 200 years ago, would have been red cloth. That was your wealth, or cows, or sheep, or little jingly janglies, or spice, or
Exactly.
whatever. So I mean, just take out that word and just say, well, it's just a form of energy. I mean, we never worry about how much air running out. I mean, air is infinite, and money is as well. Because money is just a thought process. It's really it's what sort of energy we put towards it. And if you view it as that, there's enough money for everything. There's a great saying out there about the Maharaji when he came across to America first to do his yoga and his Vespana stuff. And one of his followers says, Jesus, Master, he says, that's going to take an awful lot of money. We don't have it. Where are we going to get it? And he says, wherever the money is now. All the money is there. We just need to have an idea or a use to put it into place.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that if you had a use for it, if you had a need for it, it would show up. And I've proved this to myself over and over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's
And I
something,
thought,
something generally comes out of the hat for me in
yeah,
life. Yeah, okay. If I'm really up against the wall with
mm,
something, generally life will hand me an opportunity.
yeah,
As long as I can spot that opportunity, obviously an opportunity, an alternative to it, if you see what I mean.
yeah.
It's not
And that's
necessarily,
it.
it won't necessarily just dump 5 grand in my bin or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was just, you could try this. Life
yeah,
offers you an opportunity.
exactly. And that's the nutter, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. The opportunities, because the opportunities are always there. But if we put this stressful thing called money in the way, now there's fucking, but you view it the other way. How can I be, or how can I give more? All of a sudden, it's the ideas start to flow, and all of a sudden it's like bing, bada boom, as they used to say in The Sopranos, bada bing, bada boom, and things show up. The ideas
Here's,
start to flow, and
here's a phrase from me. Here's a quote from me. Okay, this is not a quote of somebody else. This is something I just said it one day, and I thought, oh yeah, actually, if you're giving somebody advice, okay, best listen to it because you're giving them the advice that you need to hear.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Uh, and I basically said, uh, uh, money for money's sake, no, forget it.
yeah,
I'm trying to think of the words that I said. Trying to think of the words I said. Oh yeah, money for money's sake, forget it. Okay, do something that where money is a resultant rather than an aim.
exactly,
Do something that adds value to somebody's
yeah,
life somewhere, and
and do
the money
something,
will come.
yeah,
The
yeah,
money will
and do
come.
something big, yeah,
Exactly. And then I said that, and then I started seeing these adverts, and they're still appearing on Facebook. It drives me insane. Some woman, some English woman, and she's going, oh yeah, I do this, I get a 5-figure income every month, and I sell 36,000 books a month, and I never write one. And basically, what she does, she gets AI to write the book, gets somebody to design the cover, and then she, with the algorithm, she decides what the subject is. And so does all that, then just puts it on Amazon and lets it sell. I just thought, what value are you adding to people's lives which makes you deserve something good? All you're doing is you're just basically skimming scum off
Plagiarism,
the
yeah.
top of the pot.
Yep.
And I just thought, I couldn't possibly do that. Yes, I want money, but I couldn't
Mm,
possibly do that.
mm,
And I realised then that my relationship and money has changed quite considerably.
mm,
Uh, but also, I've got to be quite careful not to be too purist about it. You know,
mm,
don't try and define whether it does good. Just do something nice
yeah.
and do something interesting that you're passionate about. And often that's enough. Often that's enough. It's certainly enough inside. Forgetting about
Mm,
money completely. Okay. Sometimes when I do something and I'm passionate about it, doesn't matter whether anybody notices or not. I don't care.
yeah.
I've done it. I'm happy about it,
Mm,
and I wake up in the morning. And I feel 1,000 times better because I'm doing something that I believe in.
mm,
And like businesses, people said to me, "Oh, there's a guy down in Kent, and we got talking one time, a short while ago. It was through the hospital because he'd been up with his son who was in the same ward as me when I was in hospital. When I was in hospital, and not talking that he goes, "Oh, you should come down. We should talk about it." He said, "I've got this company down there." He said it's not doing very well. I need someone in business development. And he said, "My son tells you you've been all over the place. You've done business development, starting companies and stuff." I said, "Yeah, I've done a fair bit of it. But what does your company do?" He said, "Oh, well, we're having this problem with it. We're having that problem with it." I just said, "I'm sorry, no." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because at the end of the day, if you're describing something to me that I'm passionate about, I come down with a great job for you. But I have to do a great job for myself
mm,
first because I've got to be passionate about it." But what you're describing is just like a scenario. You want me in to let you know when to fire the bullets and what direction to fire the bullets in, or you want me to fire the bullets. No thanks. I need to be creating something rather than I don't know, dissecting something
mm.
in a sort of almost inhuman way.
Something with a bit of life and a bit of passion, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Mm,
We all need it. That's if we're
mm.
doing something we love. What's it? Once again, it's another old phrase. I hear a
Yeah.
load of
You'll
it.
never work a day in your life. Yeah.
There's a reason, sort of to do something you're passionate about and do
Mm,
it well, and
yeah.
you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah. And
It's
that's it. And that's the
true.
truth of it all. Yeah. How true. How true. Ken, I'm gonna have to cut it there. I have to go in and look after the patient.
No worries, mate. Listen, next week
Yeah.
let's be the Declan show next week.
Okay. I'll let
Okay.
you I'll let you I'll let you do the interviewing.
Yeah, please, because
Uh,
I'd love to know more. Some of the stuff you told me today is just like amazing. Some would say
it's
it's out there, but I think it's great because it's different experiences to the ones I've had,
mm,
and that's always eye-opening and mind-opening as well.
mm,
So yeah, let's do that. Let's do that next week,
absolutely.
and then we
Looking
then we can
forward to it.
talk about starting to invite a few people and just
Absolutely.
a couple of maybe one person from each side of us, and
Yeah.
then but we'll work out, see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll just
Because
do
I was talking to a guy in Canada there the other day, and I said he'd be great for a little chat with us.
yeah.
He's interested. He's I've that feeling that he has this interest behind that it just needs coaxing to bring it out, but that he's in a place similar to us, and that yeah, he has a message that he might not realize that he has
Yeah, it's something.
something to give.
It's probably got a load of things he can pass on to other
Mm,
people
I think so.
that he doesn't even realise right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Just need the right environment, the right chat.
exactly. The right coaxing. Ken, you have a brilliant week.
And
Brilliant
you,
as
mate.
ever. We'll talk to you next week.
Catch you later, mate.
Cheers, man.